Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to NWA Power. We are coming off the back of NWA Hard Times, where we saw the debut of Dozer, formerly known as Otis, in the WWE, as he earned the right to face Bishop Dyer for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. We also saw Colby Corino rid the NWA of Max Caster, and we saw a record broken as Yuka Sakazaki became the brand new NWA World Women's Champion as she defeated Kenzie Page, breaking her over 900-day reign as NWA World Women's Champion. But now we are on our way to the NWA Crockett Cup. So we'll find out more about what is going to be on that card over these 4 episodes of NWA Power. This first episode of NWA Power opens up with Mark Henry in the ring with both Bishop Dyer and Dozer. He says that Dozer did earn his right to face Bishop Dyer. He earned it by winning a 6-way at NWA Hard Times, and he now has the opportunity to face Dyer at the Crockett Cup. He has the 2 contracts ready, and he hopes that the contract signing between them will go as smoothly as possible, as contract signing should be in the NWA, and it goes exactly as that. Both men signed their contracts. They are ready for their match at the Crockett Cup. Our first match of these NWA Power tapings sees Weber Hatfield defend his NWA World Television Championship as he defeats both JT Dunn and Sal Rinauro in just over 9 minutes. A really good 50 rated match here. Weber Hatfield and JT Dunn doing really well, Sal Rinauro being the weak link, but a great first event for Weber Hatfield of his World Television Championship. We'll then go backstage to EC3. He says that Hard Times didn't quite go his way, but he's not going to give up. He's going to be entering the qualifying rounds for the Crockett Cup next week, and he'll find a partner, and together they'll win the entire thing. So we do have qualifying rounds for the Crockett Cup. There'll be 3 matches for the qualifying rounds. There is 5 teams already set for the Crockett Cup, but 3 teams still need to qualify. And speaking of some of these teams to qualify, Father James Mitchell is backstage in the Disciples of Sin locker room. He has Max, Vic and Silas Mason all together, and he says that Max and Vic have a qualifying match for next week for the Crockett Cup. So we need Silas to stay away from the ring to make sure they win. He's sick of the constant arguing and bickering between Max and Silas, and if they keep going on, they'll both find themselves gone from the Disciples of Sin altogether. So Father James Mitchell now laying down the law for the Disciples of Sin. We'll then go to our next match as Yuka Sakazaki defeats Karen Q, making her first defense of her NWA World Women's Championship. Again, Kenzie Page did lose the NWA World Women's Championship to Yuka Sakazaki at NWA Hard Times, ending her over 900-day reign. But now we see Yuka Sakazaki making her first defense against one of Kenzie Page's associates in Karen Q. A good 56 rated match and a good first defense for Yuka Sakazaki. So, in our main event of this first episode of NWA Power, we get a 63 rated match as Dozer and Colby Corino defeat Ortiz and Odinson in around 13.5 minutes when Dozer pins Odinson. Again, a really good match, Odinson being the weak link, getting a 42, but everyone else getting in the mid to high 60s. A really good match here, but there is something I can see in which Colby Corino has sustained a herniated spinal disc. Again, that doesn't sound very good, but hopefully he's not out for too long, but I can't see that being a good injury. Now onto the final segment of the night. Matt Lee walks down to the ring and he grabs a microphone. He says he's not here to fight. In fact, he doesn't want to fight until the NWA fans show him the respect that he deserves. He's sick of all the new guys coming in and getting title shots because they got fired from WWE or AEW. He's the real star of the NWA and he should get all the title shots. He says that Dozer hasn't done anything other than win 1 match to get his shot, and he wants to face him next week, one-on-one in this ring, to prove that he is still the real star of the NWA. So this first taping of NWA Power gets a 58 rating. Again, a really good rating, but we'll have to see what happens in the next episode. The second taping of NWA Power opens up with Rob Van Dam. He's in the ring and he's here to give a medical update on Colby Corino. He says that Colby did go to a local hospital after his injury on the last episode of NWA Power, but it's not looking good. The injury to Colby Corino, the herniated spinal disc, will keep him out of action for at least 6 months if surgery goes well, but if not, it may possibly even be a year or maybe even more. So Colby Corino is now officially injured and he'll be out from anywhere between 6 months to even a year. In our next match, or our first match of this second taping, we see a qualifying match for the Crockett Cup as EC3 and his partner Trevor Murdoch take on the team of Odinson and Mike Mondo. During the match, we saw Bully Ray come in and attack EC3, which leads to a victory for Odinson and Mike Mondo. Again, these two, Odinson and Mike Mondo, will be progressing to the NWA Crockett Cup, whereas EC3 and Trevor Murdoch have lost that opportunity because of Bully Ray. We then go backstage to Ortiz. He says he wants to prove himself against the best the NWA has to offer. So he challenges one of the best in Keith Lee to a match during the second night of the Crockett Cup. So we'll have to see if Keith Lee accepts this challenge from Ortiz. In our next match, we saw the Disciples of Sin earn their spot in the Crockett Cup as they defeated Los Hermanos de la Jungla after Max the Impaler submits Fight Panther Jr. A really good match here of 56, Max the Impaler being the best in the match by far, Vic being the worst. But it does show that if Silas does stay away, then the Disciples of Sin are ready to take on anyone. They can win anything, so they have earned their spot in the Crockett Cups. There's only one space remaining in the Crockett Cup. After this, we see Kenzie Page for the first time since NWA Hard Times as she storms down to the ring and grabs a microphone. She demands a rematch against Yuka Sakazaki at the Crockett Cup. Yuka comes out and says that she accepts Kenzie's challenge, but she wants more than just a one-on-one. She wants a ladder match. So this will be your main event of night 2 of the Crockett Cup. It will be Kenzie Page against Yuka Sakazaki in a ladder match for the NWA World Women's Championship. Then in our main event of the evening, we see Dozer defeat Matt Lee in just over 12 minutes. Dozer getting a rating of 64, Matt Lee at 49, and a good match at a 65 rating. Again, the push of Dozer continues. A good win here for him against a very game Matt Lee. Then, after this, Bishop Dyer comes down to the ring. He says he respects Dozer. They come from the same background. They came through NXT. They came through the Performance Center. But he's not going to go easy on him just because they have history. So it will be the main event of night 1 of the Crockett Cup will be Bishop Dyer taking on Dozer with his NWA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. So this episode of NWA Power, the second taping, gets a 60 rating, a really good rating here. Again, obviously it is a shame about Colby Corino pulling back the curtain a little bit here, but Colby Corino was meant to be the person that defeats Bishop Dyer for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. It was meant to happen all at NWA 78, but now obviously he's out for anywhere between 6 months to a year, so that will have to be changed. But it is unfortunate, but again, the show does go on. But if we move to our third taping of NWA Power. So in our first match of the third taping of NWA Power, we see Silas Mason defeat Chris Brooks and defend the NWA National Heavyweight Championship. This is his 8th defense of the National Heavyweight Championship, and it is a good 50 rated match and a good way to start this third taping. Again, unfortunately, Silas Mason does sustain an injury, a strained rotator cuff, but hopefully that doesn't keep him out for very long. After this, Taylor and Morton once again tried to reason with Silas Mason. They tried to get him to rejoin the Southern Six. Silas looks like he's considering it, but then Max the Impaler comes and attacks Taylor and Morton from behind. Silas, seeing this, doesn't do anything about it. He just walks his way to the back, leaving Taylor and Morton to be beaten down by Max the Impaler. After this, we go backstage to see Matt Lee. He's saying that he should be holding all the titles in the NWA. He's sick of all these newcomers coming in and taking his star power. But Weber Hatfield overhears him, and he says that he's sick of hearing Matt Lee constantly bitching about him not getting shots when he clearly can't get the job done. He's had so many shots since he's been here and yet has won none of them. So the reason he's not getting shots now is because he clearly can't win. If he wants a title shot so badly, then Weber Hatfield will happily put his TV title on the line against Matt Lee during the final night of the Crockett Cup. In a really good segment here, a 62. Both these are actually really good on the microphone. So hopefully that will translate over to their match at the final night of the Crockett Cup. After this, we see Bojack and Marsh Rockett defend the NWA World Tag Team Championships against the team of Sonico and Dylan McKay. Again, this is their 5th defense of the NWA World Tag Team Championships, and a really good 51 rated match here. All four guys are quite young, probably except for Marsh Rockett, and they do have bright futures ahead of them. After this, EC3 storms the ring and he clears Bojack and Marsh Rockett. He grabs a microphone and he says that he's sick of Bully Ray, Bojack and Marsh Rockett thinking they can do what they want. He demands that Mark Henry make a match between him and Murdoch against Bojack and Rockett for the NWA World Tag Team Championships at the Crockett Cup. We then go backstage to Keith Lee. He says that he accepts Ortiz's challenge, but Mark Henry wants to add more. He says that throughout Night 1 and Night 2 of the Crockett Cup, there's going to be 3 qualifying matches. The winner of these matches will then be entered into a main event fatal 4-way for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship during the final night of the Crockett Cup. This first match between Keith Lee and Ortiz will be the first qualifying match. The next qualifying match will be revealed next week on NWA Power, and Mark Henry promises that it's an extremely huge reveal. But then, in our main event of this third taping of NWA Power, in a 70 rated match, the team of Dozer and Yuka Sakazaki draw with Bishop Dyer and Kenzie Page following a double countout after all 4 of the competitors brawl all around the arena and are both counted out. Again, these are the challengers for the World Championships here. Dozer will challenge Bishop Dyer, as we know, and Kenzie Page will challenge Yuka Sakazaki for the Women's Championship during the main event of Night 2. So again, we've got the 2 main events for Night 1 and Night 2 in a tag team match here, but they do end up in a draw. So a really good 70 rated match and a really good way to finish the show. So this taping of NWA Power gets a 59, slightly less than our last taping. It only increased our popularity in 7 regions, mainly because we've probably reached the limit in other regions, but a good 59 rating. But now we'll move on to our third and final NWA Power taping. So our final taping of NWA Power opens up with Weber Hatfield defeating the returning Low Key. A really good 52 rated match here. Low Key was rusty and only got a 36, but Weber Hatfield getting a 54 and a really good way to open up the show. After this, however, Weber Hatfield is attacked by Matt Lee. Obviously, Matt Lee and Weber Hatfield had their confrontation last week, but Lee steals the NWA World Television Championship from Weber Hatfield and leaves the arena with it. So Matt Lee is in possession of Weber Hatfield's NWA World Television Championship. We then go backstage to Mark Henry. He says that he promised that the second qualifying match for the main event 4-way at the Crockett Cup will be a big one, and he will make sure he doesn't disappoint. The match will be between 2 of the most legendary wrestlers in Japan, as it will be Shinsuke Nakamura against Kota Ibushi. This will all happen on night 2 of the Crockett Cup. So we've got Nakamura against Ibushi on night 2. In our next match, we saw the team of Yuka Sakazaki and Mei Suruga defeat Karen Q and Allison Kay. Again, another 2 of Kenzie Page's entourage, but a really good 57 rated match here. Yuka Sakazaki being the standout in the match, getting a 62. Mei Suruga getting a 51. Karen Q a 33 and Allison Kay a 41. So a decent 57 rated match and a good way to build towards the Crockett Cup. After this, we have Max the Impaler. They say what they did last week to Taylor and Morton was for Silas's benefit. And if Silas knows what's good for him, he'll stay out of their way, because something similar may happen to him if he keeps interrupting Max's matches. After this, we go back to Mark Henry's office, but this time he has Bully Ray and EC3 in there. He says that he's granting EC3 his shot at the NWA World Tag Team Championships at the Crockett Cup, but it won't just be in any normal match. These men want to tear each other apart, so it will be in a street fight. So we'll see EC3 and Trevor Murdoch challenge Bojack and Marsh Rockette for the NWA World Tag Team Championships in a street fight. Then we go to our main event of this final episode of NWA Power, as the team of Ortiz and Spencer Slade defeat TJP and Oliver Carter after Spencer Slade submits Oliver Carter. However, we also saw JT Dunn come and attack Oliver Carter, clearly making himself known and making the fact that he wants a shot at the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship well known to Oliver Carter. But a really good 69 rated match here and a good way to finish all the matches for these set of NWA Power tapings. But to finish off this show altogether, we have Dozer and Bishop Dyer. They meet in the ring one last time before their NWA World Heavyweight Championship match at night 1 of the Crockett Cup. Bishop Dyer holds up the NWA World Heavyweight Championship to close the show, signifying that he is the champion and he plans on continuing to be the champion at the end of the Crockett Cup. So this episode of NWA Power's final episode gets a rating of 61. Doesn't result in any popularity changes. This is because, again, we have probably maxed out our popularity growth for the month. But we'll finish the show and we'll see how much money we lost. We'll look at the injury to Carino and we'll see where our popularity changes have occurred. So if we look at the injury, or the injuries that occurred, again, it's not great. Silas Mason's, the Australian rotator cuff can be worked through, but it's still 84 days. Mike Mondo's chronic upper back pain can be worked through, but it's 56 days. Then Colby Carino, his herniated spinal disc, keeps him out for 1 year. Again, there is surgery available, so we'll have to see if that takes any of that time down, if the surgery is successful. If we go to our financial report, we did lose about $25,000 on this show, but it should be fine. We did make quite a lot of money throughout the previous month, and we do have the broadcast revenue to come. So $25,000 is not that bad. But our popularity recap, we have gained popularity in quite a few regions, especially around Japan, especially around the UK as well, and quite a few in America. But we are looking, hopefully, at getting a 40 pop in Southwest, Northwest or Great Lakes, as once we do, we'll be able to put NWA on pay-per-view on Triller TV. So hopefully we can get to that as quickly as possible. But for now, we will finish the episode here. Again, a very action-packed episode with one huge issue that's presented itself. But again, like I said, the show does go on. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. If there's any wrestlers you do want to see in the series, make sure you leave them in the comments below. But again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you at the NWA Crockett Cup.